All right, so I think the string thinking about things ready to go though. So hello everybody, Mega ZardX here, back at it again to give you all another very exciting podcast episode. That being my ZardCast episode 45. Now I felt like quite a bit of stuff has happened within the past couple of weeks, but especially at least for me personally, a lot of stuff has happened within the last 48 hours because I don't know why, but like Friday when I was it was actually started Thursday night, rolling into Friday morning. I was dog sick. Had to, take that day to kind of recover on there. Had to miss another day of work the day after, but I'm feeling manageable at least right now though. So I was like, okay, I really want to make sure I get this podcast episode out here though, because when we're coming up on the holidays, it's like right around the corner. Families already, talking and whatnot though, trying to coordinate all the Thanksgiving and stuff and whatnot though. I was trying to prepare my channel at least for all the video uploads and streams that I may want to do at last second right before Thanksgiving and getting all that content scheduled out there. And I feel like I got most of it done. I should get the rest of it done within the next few days. And then I'll just be kind of chilling, taking a break for the next week. But stuff will still go up on the channel and whatnot, though. So I've been kind of messing around with a little bit of that. And also just woke up a couple of days ago. It actually snowed for the first time over here for the year, or I guess for this like winter-ish season. Not quite winter yet, still fall though. And I was like, dang, I was like, it's already snowing. I was like, what the heck? And apparently we might get a little bit more tomorrow. Not gonna be nothing significant or whatnot though. But at least that's just some of the things that's been going on, at least with me personally though. But looking at some of the pop culture stuff and as well as some of the gaming news that I had to go through and talk about at least tonight. Shoot, the whole Twitter fiasco thing. Oh my gosh, I got some stuff to say on that. Very important stuff, not just because the way how I kind of get my news and stuff and whatnot though, but just how I operate base operations and stuff. It actually affects what I do on the channel though. So I got to give my 2 cents on that. Um, I want to give just some pre thoughts on Black Panther. Haven't watched it yet, but I'll say some stuff about that. We managed to get some Black Friday deals, so we know what some of those are looking like for Nintendo side of things. Want to go ahead and lay out the word for that. PlayStation VR 2 got revealed in this price point, and whew, that was a little bit sticky right there. And then we know we got Game of the Year. The Game of the Year nominees are going to be shown tomorrow, or at this point when you're listening to it, it might already be up. But it should drop tomorrow though, so I kind of want to get my predictions on that as well, and all that kind of good stuff though. So that's some of the main highlights, at least for all this topics that I got set here for tonight though. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump up in this though. So let's go ahead and jump straight up into that pop culture segment. All right, so first up, we got to talk about this whole Twitter fiasco thing because, oh my gosh, Elon Musk. I just knew something was just going to be whack or a little bit funky because literally from the very get go, this dude wanted to buy out Twitter, right? And then he tried to backpedal. And then they're like, no, 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 no. You're gonna do what you say. You got the money. We know you got the money. You're gonna commit to it. The dude comes back around and buys it though. And I feel like every little thing he's been executing here on Twitter has been absolutely whack. There's some things over here I was looking at just as a user on Twitter. I was like, that is going to be a very bad idea, though. The main big draw that a lot of people been kind of looking at, and then it's been kind of stemming around that, was literally the fact that Twitter, as it is right now, you can go on Twitter, watch whatever you want to watch, view whatever you want to do, just normally like that. However, he wants to mainly enforce Twitter Blue, a thing where now you will pay $8 a month. And with that, you actually will get a verified check mark as if like you're some other big verified accounts like a Hollywood star, like Dwayne Johnson or something like that, or a verified account like Nintendo of America or something like that. They literally give you a check mark, making you look like there's somebody important like that. And instantly off the bat, I just knew that that was a bad idea because you're gonna have a lot of people impersonating other accounts, which honestly, that was one thing that they thought Twitter Blue would actually kind of stop, and like with the hate accounts and all of that kind of stuff. And while they thought it was going to do that, it literally did what they thought that it was going to prevent. And literally, like 24 hours into offering that service, they had to shut down people subscribing to it. And I'm like, what the heck? Now, the whole impersonation thing is pretty bad because all it takes is you paying that $8 for Twitter Blue, be like, hey, I got that verified check mark. All you got to do is change your name to Nintendo of America. Just change your at mention to something similar. Just change like one digit off of it or whatnot, though. And then you literally had Mario over here flipping off people, and that tweet just like blew up and got massive because of stuff like that. That's why a lot of advertisers or people that would usually promote their stuff via Twitter, whatnot, though, they are not doing that anymore. I think even Nintendo is not promoting their stuff on Twitter anymore. Like usually they used to push stuff through with ads and whatnot, though, which that makes Twitter quite a bit of revenue and whatnot, though. But now they a lot of companies and a lot of businesses are pulling out of that. Hence why Elon's trying to do the Twitter Blue thing, but it's like a snowballing effect. He does the Twitter Blue thing, people impersonate, the people back off. He's trying to do more stuff with Twitter Blue, but now it's harder to monetize all that stuff. The dude went through firing half of his staff and whatnot though, and then he still needs those same half of the staff to actually do all the changes he wants. So he's trying to rehire the people he just fired. Like I just don't know what this dude is doing. It's getting pretty bad to the point where people are thinking that at the rate we're going right now, Twitter could be dead. And also with Twitter Blue, get this. If you're not a verified user paying that Twitter Blue, the Twitter Blue, if you have it, it will actually stick you if you were to respond to like a Nintendo tweet or whatever though. Twitter Blue users will in the algorithm will be placed at the top of the comments. Everybody else will be flipped and put towards the bottom. In some of his own words, it'll be like going through a Gmail spam account. I was like, what the actual heck? So I'm like, it's gonna be hard if you're like a content creator or somebody trying to do a business and whatnot though, and trying to survive out there because then you just get people like, I don't know, in just this short amount of time, there's been so much crazy stuff going on in Twitter because of the actions that Elon Musk has been doing now. Now, me personally, it is gonna affect me because I feel like outside of YouTube and whatnot, though, like right now, I literally got a Twitch channel. I got my YouTube main channel where the podcast is coming out of right now, and I have my YouTube extras channel as well, where I throw basically anything I do on Twitch since Twitch can only save videos for like 1 week, and those go to the extras channel like several weeks later at like a staggered rate. I'll just drop maybe a couple of videos on there though. That's like my three main fronts in terms of like video creation, content, whatnot though. Outside of that, Twitter is my main thing. Even yes, I technically got a Facebook though. I hadn't really touched it a lot though, but Twitter is my main thing. Y'all don't know this though, but I literally pull most of my topics from my podcast and whatnot though straight from Twitter. If Twitter just goes up in flames, I'm just gonna have to find a new news outlet to kind of get all that stuff. Because I feel like Twitter was a pretty good gaming news outlet. Like you get voice from the players, voice from the industries, all that stuff. It just naturally kind of it's a good place to pull stuff from. Yes, you got to go through and verify a whole bunch of stuff though, but it just worked. I got a rhythm and a flow going right now though. But if that goes up in flames, I might have to start preparing like some side alternate accounts. Is it time to jump over to Instagram? I'm like, I wasn't really a big fan of Instagram though, but I'm kind of running out of options. If Twitter were to go up in flames like within like the next couple of weeks or something like that, and if I got to get out when the going's good, I might have to prepare another social media outlet or something like that. So I don't know what's the next best thing after Twitter. Probably Instagram. I don't know. I just like the way how you can get so many different tweets and whatnot though, but I just don't know though. So yeah, so honestly, keep an eye out on my Twitter account and whatnot though. If I need to make some precautions or need to make some changes, or if I open up a new account, I'll probably will leave something in the community comments on my YouTube outlets and whatnot though, as well as I'll tweet about it on my Twitter account or whatnot though. I hope that Twitter doesn't go away. So I really do enjoy it. Like that is a really nice app. But if it goes up in flames, I'm gonna be like, forget you, Elon Musk. Like this is terrible, man. I could be running this company way better, and I just don't know about billionaire dollar playboys running this stuff like that. Like, oh, good gracious, it's just terrible, man, terrible. But yeah, that's basically all I have to say about the whole Twitter fiasco, though. But y'all got any thoughts or any concerning stuff? Let me know down in the comments or just at me on Twitter. I say at me on Twitter while it's still up. Oh gosh, whatever though. But yeah, I think I about made my peace on that. I think I made my peace on that. So that's all I got to say on that. So let's go ahead and jump over to this Black Panther news real quick. All right, so Black Panther, I know it has recently came out. It came out this past Friday, but unfortunately, I have not seen the movie yet. I am planning on it, but with the holidays coming up, it's a chance for my family to all get together. So we kind of agree we're gonna watch it all together once we have everybody, huddled up and whatnot though. So I'll see it the next Friday. So next time, whenever my ZardCast episode 46 comes out, that's when you'll hear my full review, non-spoilerly kind of thoughts on it, though. But just going off of the words that's kind of been roaming off of the street, I know people been. I heard really good stuff about this stuff. I heard some kind of negative stuff about it. I heard people say this is the best Marvel movie of the year. That's no stretch. We only had like what, um, we had the Thor movie that came out and the Doctor Strange one. So I'm like, it's not a stretch to kind of say that. But at the same time, people were kind of like they like the old T'Challa, and they're like, why don't you recast Black Panther and whatnot? Though I don't know. It's a lot of things I'm just going to keep at the back of my mind. Where once I actually sit down and watch this movie, I can actually give my full thoughts on all of those kind of things I've been hearing off to the side. Though I really wish I could say something more about it, but I just can't. Y'all, I usually watch this stuff on day one, but I made an exception on this, and I've just been trying to dodge spoilers left and right, at least for this whole entire and for this movie, because I know it's good. I know it's good. Just gotta keep waiting. Just gotta keep waiting though. But yeah, that's all I gotta say on the Black Panther stuff though. But that's pretty much it in terms of all the pop culture news topics that I got set up for y'all tonight though. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump up straight into that gaming news. All right, so it seems like Nintendo has finally listed out all of their Black Friday deals that we can kind of expect to keep an eye out for, as we get a little closer and closer to, the end of Thanksgiving, Black Friday, rolling all the way up into the holidays throughout the holiday season, up until Christmas and stuff. So it seems like Nintendo, you know what? When it ain't broke, don't fix it. They're always in that kind of mindset and that mentality and whatnot, though. So once again, the hot item that they're bringing back is, to no shock or no surprise, they're bringing back that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe bundle with the Nintendo Switch Online subscription service for 3 months for $299.99. So a pretty good bundle. You get the basically you get the game for free. You get the Switch Online subscription 3 months for free, and you're just really just paying for just the system itself for basically that $300. That's the one thing I think they've been running for like the past 3 or 4 years or something like that, to that effect and whatnot though. But hey, when that's like your number one seller, and literally every time they do a fiscal update report, that thing keeps selling like a few million copies every time. It's like it's the king of all kings, the thing that will not stop selling until like they put the Switch down and they just move on to something else. But hey, I mean, it is what it is though. But outside of that, maybe you already have a Switch by now, or I think most people probably would at this point though. But if you already have a Switch, here's some things that you can be looking forward to in terms of the software stuff as well, though. So there's going to be some games that are going to be sold for $20 off. So the grand total is going to be roughly about $40 as a subtotal before tax. And those in that game lineup will include Mario Party Superstars, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Animal Crossing New Horizons, The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes, which I think that might be the most recent thing that actually came out this year that's actually getting knocked down by the $20, as well as Bravely Default 2 and WarioWare Get It Together and Big Brain Academy. Brain versus Brain will be available for 33% off as well. So WarioWare and the Big Brain Academy, those ones aren't going to be $40, or no, I think those are going to be $40 as well as all the other stuff. For some reason, I thought it was a little bit cheaper. I feel like with other retailers, they can change those numbers a little bit though, but that's just the standard. No matter where you're going, you're going to at least get those to be $20 off for that roughly 33% off. So yeah, so honestly, that's what we know right now. And as we get a little closer to Black Friday and as well as Cyber Monday, that whole weekend as a nutshell, different retailers will come out saying, "Hey, we'll be doing XYZ on this stuff." They'll be offering more games and stuff outside of some of those first party games that Nintendo just mentioned. Because like literally today, Sonic Frontiers, a game that just literally came out last week, was selling on average for about $60. And the retailers just recently, like for the PS5 version, like Walmart, they knocked that sucker down to $40 today. I was like, you know what? Shoot, I'm getting that sucker. I literally picked it up with a few of the amiibo that I wasn't able to pick up on launch day because I was sick. Like on this past Friday, I managed to pick all of that stuff up today and then brought it home. So I was like, you know what? That was pretty good getting a big AAA game is Sonic Frontiers for $40. I was like, okay, now for that price, I could dip. So you'll get other retailers and stuff like that doing that over the next upcoming days as we inch closer and closer to Black Friday though. And you just gotta keep your eyes out there. If you want to kind of stay in the loop of some potentially good deals, I highly recommend following Wario64 on Twitter because he tweets out. If you turn the notifications on, you'll know you'll be always in the loop. You won't miss out on anything good because that's what I've been doing, especially around this time of the year. Because I'm looking on the hunt for like some PlayStation games, some Nintendo games. Like I want to probably get like Near Automata on the Switch version. That new version that came out literally this year. I know I could probably get it for a little bit cheaper than what was it, the $40 that it goes for MSRP right now. So yeah, so just kind of keep that stuff in mind as you're trying to do your holiday shopping this year though, because we're going to be getting some good decent sales. And then don't forget, there's also the Black Friday major sale that goes down on the eShop digitally, which that one offers a crap ton of stuff. So you got to kind of, you got to juggle it, half a dozen eggs in one, six in the other, in terms of, which one gets the best deals between the digital side of things as well as the physical side with the Black Friday stuff. So yeah, I'll keep y'all in the loop. I think the next time that I have my next podcast episode, well, some of the Cyber Monday ish eShop stuff might be gone, but who knows? We might have some other deals that might be going on at like last minute leading up to Christmas though. It just kind of all depends. It just all depends though. But yeah, so I think that's pretty much it in terms of most of the Black Friday deals that I noticed that I just want to kind of bring to y'all's attention though. I know GameStop, a lot of companies right now, GameStop, Best Buy, Walmart, they're kind of running some of the pre Black Friday deals though. Some of them you might want to go ahead and stack, some you might be a little more patient on. But then once we get to like Thanksgiving Day, Black Friday, pretty much everything is open at that point though. Just, don't be throwing no hands and stuff like that if you expect them to go into the store. Do all that shopping online, man. It ain't worth it no more. And in a post-COVID world, it just ain't right. Just getting that close up on people like that. Shoot, I'll be swinging and stuff like that if I were caught up in those crowds. Like, oh shoot, I ain't doing it. I ain't doing it. But yes, that's gonna basically do it in terms of the Black Friday deals, though. So let me go ahead and jump over to the next topic. That being, we did get an update on some Nintendo financial reports because it's been another few months, so they threw it down some new numbers and whatnot. Though in terms of that top 10 games, it's been roughly about the same. Nothing really has changed in that top 10, so I won't put the major focus on that like how I did in some of the past podcast episodes when we got those numbers though. But they did mention some other interesting stuff that I actually wanted to highlight instead of that. So let me go ahead and try to pull this mess up here on my Twitter side of things though. So Nintendo actually showed like a demographic of annual players that are playing. And mind you, shoot, I'm trying to remember exactly um how many users that we actually have overall on the Nintendo Switch. Well, at least for active people or annual players, that's saying that it's like roughly at like 106 million players, which is pretty interesting. And I'm actually looking at the chart right now. I don't have it set up to where I can actually show you on the YouTube version of this podcast side though, but basically, you got a decent amount of people that play from the age of like 10 to 18, but I think 20 to 25 is like the biggest, highest one. Literally like 22, 23 is like the actual absolute highest. But yeah, like literally people playing from ages 10 to 18 and then like 20 to like mid 25, kind of getting close to 30. That's like the biggest Nintendo audience, and then you get some decent people still playing all the way up to their mid 40s or whatnot, and then it kind of tapers off after that though. So it was kind of interesting to actually kind of see that play out though. But yeah, the chart was just it just kept growing and whatnot though. So that was pretty kind of cool to see right there. That was one thing they showed. Another thing that they showed was Nintendo has actually shipped over 77 million amiibo figures. And I think that's pretty much dating out from since amiibo was actually ever a thing, which is pretty cool in a nutshell. Because think about it, like amiibo launched in 2014 when like Super Smash Bros. 4 launched on like the Wii U and 3DS. And since then, this has been crazy how many different amiibo we've been getting. Granted, it's not been nearly as many amiibo dropping like it was in its heyday when people were run out to the stores, buy them all. It would literally go out on stock. People would try to sell that mess up on eBay and stuff like that. We're out of those kind of crazy days though. But for the sake of just collecting to collect or just getting amiibo that you really like from certain series and whatnot though, I mean that's been really good itself. So I'm like, hey, I've been personally enjoying it. I've been personally enjoying it. Because literally today I just picked up the Splatoon 3 amiibo, the newest set. The one where you have like the Inkling girl, the Inkling boy, as well as the small fry amiibo. That's his official name. But yeah, I just picked up all three of those, and I would say on them, I'm literally holding them in my hand right now. But sheesh, like the design of these ones, Amiibo has really came a long way. Like if you looked at for example, if you looked at the first Amiibo wave, like like Splatoon 1 Amiibo, and then you compare them to like these Splatoon 3 ones, those Splatoon 1 ones, they looking crusty. I'm just gonna keep it real. They're looking kind of crusty over there though. I mean, granted, there's some novelty, some nostalgia to it. It was like some of the first type of Amiibo on the Nintendo Switch, or for not Nintendo Switch, Amiibo for Nintendo in general. But I like how far it has come. I do like that. But yeah, so I think that was one thing I want to see and look up here real quick. Give me 1 second here. How many Switches have sold from Nintendo? But yeah, so I think right now, I think we're roughly at like 111 million switches that recently have sold. I think that was like one of the last numbers. I just googled it real quick. It's roughly there. It's almost going to surpass the PS4 here in just a little bit though. But imagine that 111 million 111 million switches, right? You got that many, right? And out of that 111 million, 106 of them are active, meaning like 5 million aren't. That's pretty good. Maybe those are people with a lot of secondary switches and whatnot, though. Now, also, they did update the numbers for Nintendo Switch Online members, and it says they have like over 36 million people that are subscribed to it, whether they're individual or in the family plans or whatnot. Though, if you did some rough math, it's a little bit less than 33%, but you could roughly say one out of every three people that have a Nintendo Switch have the Nintendo Switch Online service. Whether that's the basic plan or the expansion pack, they got one or the other. One out of every three. That's very good. I would like to see that number get a little bit higher though, but that is pretty good. And I feel like a good chunk of those people are probably people that own multiplayer games like maybe Smash Brothers, Splatoon definitely, because I feel like if you own Splatoon, you probably own Nintendo Switch Online. I said Smash, Splatoon, Mario Kart, probably a good amount of people have those games sitting in their library, or maybe they're playing like a bunch of fighting games and stuff like that and whatnot though, because there's a lot of good, decent fighting games on the Switch, like Persona 4 Arena Ultimax. You got Melty Blood. I can't remember if Guilty Gear is on there or not. I think it is. But yeah, so you got a lot of good, decent online games from first party, as well as some things that are third party as well, though. So it kind of makes sense, though. So yes, that's pretty good, interesting number though. But the one thing that I think people kind of dove into quite a bit was when Nintendo started talking about their Nintendo accounts and the importance of next gen hardware. It made people started talking about this like, oh, is it time to actually get, the successor? Because a lot of people have been talking about, are we going to get the Switch Pro? Are we going to get a successor anytime soon? Because Switch Pro has been talked about for ages. I reported on it like maybe once or twice. I let it be because I was like, hey, I'll just wait until we get some confirmation or something. But for a lot of people, they're thinking about it, because think about it right here. The Switch came out in the year of 2017, right? 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. We're in 22 right now. Next year, March of 2023, it'll literally be 6 years. Six is that magical number where you start thinking of, all right, what is going to be next for the successor and whatnot, though. And I'm thinking anytime after that, could be any fair game in terms of when we can start hearing about it, when we can start seeing it, concept ideas and stuff like that. Like the whole NX thing that happened once we were going from the transition from the Wii U to the Switch. And I'm thinking, me personally, I'll go ahead and make this. I'll go ahead and throw this out there though. Splatoon right now, we know that that's going to be a game that gets support for the next 2 years. Granted, I really would like to see Nintendo do some backwards compatibility for whatever their next system is. But let's say if they don't. All right, I'm just saying that. Let's say they don't. But hear me out real quick. I think as long as Splatoon 3 is getting updates for the rest of its life cycle, I'm thinking the Switch, or I say the Switch, the next Nintendo successor, so it's not gonna be a Pro or nothing like that. I'm talking about the next thing after the Switch. I say that they're not gonna drop that next gen console until the Splatoon 3 updates are done. Because I think Splatoon 3 is another big thing where, or Splatoon in general, is like, I think within that first year of the next gen console coming out, some point between day one and literally the first year that it's out, I think they're gonna try to get another Splatoon game on there, being Splatoon 4 or something like that. Maybe 2 years at a most. They'll probably go without it, because that way they can work up on there and stuff like that, though. So I'm thinking, hey, if 2023, somewhere between 2023 and 2025, I'm thinking somewhere within that 2 year gap, they're gonna do the next gen console. And since Splatoon 3 came out, 2022, it basically puts the math out to where literally once we're a year and a half after March of 2023, I think any point after that, the console could drop, but we could see it anytime before that. So I'm thinking at the earliest when the console would drop, I would say fall of 2024. Fall of 2024 is probably the earliest that I think we will see it. So basically, holiday of 2024 or afterward. That's when I'm thinking the next generation Switch could probably drop. Could easily be 2025 in the spring if they wanted to do that again. But that's my prediction on that one though. So yeah, so y'all gotta let me know whether or not if you're kind of interested in, if you're thinking that, hey, it's about time for us to get something a little more powerful, which I completely understand that, because some of the Nintendo first party games are struggling a little bit. Like you see it with some of the Warrior style games and whatnot, though. You saw it with like Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity quite a bit. And then you see it like with stuff like Bayonetta and stuff, big games that are associated with Nintendo. You're not going to find those other games on any other console. And when they kind of start showing their wear and tear like that, I think it's about time. Hopefully, with the next generation console for Nintendo that comes after this, it sticks with the hybrid thing. It's just a little more powerful and whatnot, though. Don't go crazy off the deep end. That way, it can still be backwards compatible with everything on the Switch, just flow that over into like what is basically Switch version 2. I don't know what they'll call it, like a super Switch or something like that. But hey, so at least I'm kind of getting my pre thoughts out there on what I think was going to happen with the next generation Switch, though. But that's pretty much all the important stuff I kind of wanted to pull out of the fiscal reportings that we just recently got, though. But yeah, like what I said, if there's anything else that you wanted to know, or if anything else you wanted to actually talk about, to shoot me a comment, throw something in the comment section. We'd love to hear all of your thoughts on what you might potentially think about all this stuff that we just got. Now, next up, I wanted to talk about is PlayStation VR 2. Because at least with this, it's interesting. Because the thing that made me start scratching my head a lot was literally the cost of this system, though. Because literally, I was thinking to myself, this thing, looking at it in the specs and the fact that how they always like talking about it, but they never mention about the price and stuff like that. Like they kind of been beating around the bush and whatnot, though. And I think for a respectable reason, they been kind of have been, because literally this console costs 550 US dollars. Like it's literally more expensive than the disc version of the PlayStation 5. I was thinking maybe they would have got it somewhere between 400 and 500, or maybe 500 even, but they actually cost a bit more than the base. Oh, shoot. And it's not like you can just use this VR headset by itself. You literally have to have the PS or the PS5 console with it and have it plug up into it. It's not like an Oculus Quest, I think, where you can, or it was like one of those headsets where you literally can just use the headset itself and not be hooked up to anything else. But no, so literally the whole package, if you want to try VR out on the PlayStation, $500 for the system if you went disc space, $550 for the VR headset, and you're easily looking at $1,050. But now if you wanted to actually look at some of the games and stuff that's gonna be included with it, there's gonna be a decent bit of what could be a potential line up. But I think the biggest thing would literally be the Horizon Call of the Mountain, if I remember right. There's literally a bundle with that one up in it, and that one actually costs $600. So literally, they're giving you the game for like an extra $50 or whatnot, though. So yeah, so I can literally pull up this blog right here though, and it says the official date for it to launch is literally February. So literally January, February, March are kind of turning into like some busy months right there. Like you literally have like what Persona 3, Persona 4, Persona 4 Golden, Persona 3 Portable, those coming out in January. You literally have Fire Emblem Engage coming out in January. You have Octopath Traveler 2 coming out in February. You got the PlayStation VR 2 now coming out in February as well. Like, oh shoot, everything's kind of stacking up in the first part. I'm like, gosh dang. I remember when the winter was kind of slow though, but holy shoot. But yeah, and then there's also other little accessories. Like there's gonna be like a cradle dock where you can actually charge the VR2 headset without actually having to plug it into the console itself to keep it charged and whatnot though. And stuff like that. And they got some like specs and stuff on the actual the system itself. And it seems like there's going to be like at least like I can't remember how many games are going to be basically on there though, but it's going to be roughly about like 10-ish, give or take games. It was like roughly in that kind of ballpark. Don't quote me on that though. But it was a decent bit, but nothing that actually kind of stood out there like a Beat Saber or anything like that. Like literally, the Horizon game is probably like the biggest thing that you probably will get with it, just because you're picking up the system. It's like your equivalent to like having Mario Kart with the Nintendo Switch. It's like, hey, if you're picking that up for the first time, you might as well get that. But outside of that, that's all I'm kind of really seeing. Oh, wait, yeah. I said 10 games. It's actually going to be 11 games. You're going to have like what? Dark Picture, Switchback VR, Crossfire, Sierra Squad, The Light Brigade, Cities VR, Enhanced Edition, Cosmonius High, Hello Neighbor, Search and Rescue, Jurassic World, Aftermath Collection, and Pistol Whip VR. Zenith, The Last City, After the Fall, and Tentacooler, I guess. Basically, all of the games that we're gonna basically get within roughly around the launch window ish. Doesn't necessarily mean we'll get it on day one, but roughly around launch. So yeah, so that's all the stuff you can basically look at. You can literally pre-order really pre-order starts on November 15th. So literally like a couple of days from now, you'll be able to pre-order this. Or if you're watching this after November 15th, then you can pre-order it now, assuming if they don't sell out though. But it just makes me think for that price point, and you have to get a PS5, which PS5s they're getting a little bit easier to obtain, but it's still kind of a little bit difficult for some people to actually get it. I don't know. It just kind of raises the question of, is this going to be like a really hot item that's really going to sell that well? I mean, literally, I think the PlayStation VR, the first one that was with the PS4, only sold like a couple or a few million at most, and that was on a PS4 user base of like 100+ million people. So I don't know how well this PSVR 2 might sell though, but it's going to be interesting to see exactly how this play off though. Me personally, I don't think I'm going to get the PlayStation VR 2, unless someone literally just gifted that mess, which I don't see anybody potentially gifting me something that crazy expensive though. Because I mean, literally outside of the Horizon game, none of those games really interest me at all. Really, I just don't know. I don't know about VR. Me personally, I don't know. There's some couple good things out there, but not really, at least to my taste though. But yeah, so I pretty much I think I basically discussed every little thought I had to personally say on PlayStation VR 2. But hey, if you're a diehard Sony Pony fan out there or something like that, let me know if you're getting the headset or convince me why I should get the headset though, because at least me personally, I'm just not seeing it. And I highly doubt they're going to do a price drop on this thing because with that thing being more expensive than the PS5 itself, huh? Yeah, good luck on a price drop. Good luck. But yeah, so that's basically it in terms of that. So let me go over to my last topic of the night, that being a game of the year predictions. Because we are going to be getting that literally tomorrow from the time I'm, recording this podcast live and whatnot, though. And I will say there's going to be 6 categories for game of the year. And people been kind of going through and thinking about, well, what is going to be the 6 different games that we're possibly going to get? And I'm like, Literally, if you look at Metacritic, because usually Metacritic is like where you got to go in terms of picking, what would be considered as the game of the year potentials. And when you look at it, I'm thinking it's going to be number one would be, um, golly, I don't know why it's slipping my mind right now though. I literally had it at the top of my mind though. One of them is literally going to be, oh shoot, your Souls game. What you call it? Oh my gosh, why am I? Every now and then you be thinking about something in life, and then you just have like a brain fart. And I don't understand why sometimes that happens. But whole shoot, I was literally looking at it and thinking about it. Oh, here we go. Elden Ring. Elden Ring was literally one of the ones that had the highest Metacritic thing. It was the thing that blew up. Everybody was talking about it earlier this year. So I think that's a given. I think Elden Ring is a given. I think God of War Ragnarok, I think is going to be another one. I think Horizon Forbidden West will be another one. So you have 2 Sonys. You have one that's literally a Bandai Namco. The fourth one, I'm thinking it's gonna be Xenoblade Chronicles 3, because literally, that game has like 120 reviews and it's sitting at a Metacritic of an 89. Technically, its Metacritic is higher than Horizon Forbidden West, unless it changed since the last time I checked, which is really saying something right there, though. So yeah, so I think that has a decent shot. I think I feel very confident between those four: Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I feel pretty locked with those four, but it's figuring out the last two. Technically, Neon White is ranked in the 90s in the Metacritic, so I think that has a decent shot. That could be a fifth one. But that sixth one is pretty interesting though. But I was like, you know what? Maybe put Shredder's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Shredder's Revenge. Because I think in terms of an indie, because technically that is considered an indie, I think that one did really well for the reception it got. I think that one's sitting at roughly like an 86 on Metacritic though. So I'm like, hey, you know what? That's pretty good right there. That's pretty good. I'm thinking that might actually be my list as well though. So I don't know. It's gonna be pretty good. It's gonna be pretty close. It's gonna be pretty close. But literally, while I was trying to prepare this podcast for tonight, people started noticing, hey, if you go over here, and I'm gonna make sure I do it on my side as well one last time to make sure this still holds up. If you literally go to twitch.com right now and literally type in Game of the Year nominee, literally five things already, or Game Award nominee, that's what it was. If you literally type that in, literally you had some stuff with some game categories popping in right now. Oh shoot! I literally, hold on. Interesting. They were there at first, and now when I run it again, they disappeared. Only one of them is there right now. So let me provide a little context for you. Literally, if you type in Game Award nominee, there were some categories that were already tied in there. It was five of them. Not sure if it was Game of the Year contenders or whatnot, though. But it was interesting that they were already tagging some things with that tagline and whatnot, though. One of them was one of them, no shocker, no surprise, was Elden Ring. Another one was Horizon Forbidden West. Another one, interestingly enough, was Splatoon 3. I was like, wait, what? A fourth one was Xenoblade Chronicles 3. And that fifth one, I'm trying to remember what that fifth one was. I literally had to scroll back through my timeline on Twitter to figure out what that fifth one was because people were taking screenshots of that mess. And that's how I was like, wait a minute, let me go ahead and check Twitch just to make sure. Oh yeah, here we go. Yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, Splatoon 3, Elden Ring, Gran Turismo 7, and Horizon Forbidden West. All of those things were associated with that tagline. If you punched it in Twitter, Game Award nominee. Doesn't necessarily mean that it was associated with Game of the Year, but it could be associated with anything. It could be literally like best music, best action RPG, best story driven game, best family game. It could have been any of those categories as well. So, take it as, a grain of salt. But I think no matter what, when you look at all these different games I just listed out, at least these five, I think they're going to show up somewhere in some category being nominated for something. Whether it's Game of the Year or not, I don't know. But out of that five I just listed, I know at least three of them have a good shooing to show up, though. But it's interesting to see that Splatoon 3 up on there. Really interesting, though. But anyway, that was the one thing I wanted to kind of draw to y'all's attention, though. But yeah, literally my six, I'm literally calling it now. Elden Ring, Horizon Forbidden West, God of War, Ragnarok, Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I'll go ahead and say Neon White and then Shredder's Revenge. I'll say that's my six for my prediction though. But yeah, just keep an eye out on the channel though, because literally once those the voting goes up, maybe I'll sit down. I think I will. I feel fairly confident I will. I'll sit down and go through and try to go out and pick all of the different categories that I have some say on and go through and just show myself picking my votes and whatnot, though, and seeing exactly where I list all my votes. And then obviously, when that day does come up in December, when the actual Game Awards happen, it'll be something I'll probably stream on the main channel on my YouTube side of things. And, just do my reaction on that. Because, for better or worse, depending on the state of the show, it's always fun just kind of sitting in there, just watching it with y'all, and then just interacting with some of my friends in a Discord call and just, see whatever kind of gets revealed or showcased off, whether for the awards themselves, which that's primarily what it should be about, but then also for some of those game announcements, because even though a lot of them aren't super good, you'll get a couple of them that are fairly good. Like, mind y'all, the Xbox Series X was literally showcased off during one of these events. So who knows what Jeff Keighley could actually pull off on his show though, but we'll have to wait and see though. But yeah, that's basically all I have to talk about in terms of all of my gaming topics that I had discussed for tonight though. So pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff. But that's gonna do it for the gaming news. So let's go ahead and talk about that show. All right, so in terms of the shows I've been watching here lately, gosh dang it, I'm trying to remember. I want to say, well, I think I already talked about all the animes and stuff I've been going through and watching though, because My Hero Academia, that mess has been hitting. Like I literally watched like the most recent one where Shigaraki awakened, and that's all I will say. So that way I'm not spoiling anything else for y'all though. But oh shoot. Once that moment happened, if y'all seen that episode, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That stuff has been getting lit. I've been going through and watching the dub on that, so yes, I'm a couple episodes behind the sub, but that has been super enjoyable, and that's one I've always been enjoying and waiting to watch each and every week though. But outside of anime and stuff, what I've been watching lately, I've been going through I talked about it on. I think I talked about it before. I've been going through and watching all of the Simpsons episodes, which that's been pretty good. Fun little breezes going through. Usually I'll just watch them here and there. Maybe I'll watch it on my break or my lunch break or something while I'm at work or something like that. So it's been kind of good going through and watching that. Survivor, which is like one of the few things I watch that's like technically considered as like live television and whatnot though. But I've been going through and watching Survivor because there's a new season on that where literally you got like a cast of like 20 something oddball people competing to win $1 million, really surviving on an island, competing against one another, voting each other out. You know, we're in the midst of that down to the merge right now. So honestly, I've been enjoying that quite a bit though. I think outside of that, that's most of the stuff I've been going through and watching right now. Just kind of a bunch of anime and that. Oh, I will say this, Bleach. Bleach finally made its comeback. And I was like, you know what? That's been pretty good going through and watching that. Like what the dub episode now is like literally on episode 2 right now. And I've been thoroughly enjoying that series right there. Even though, man, I had to kind of dust the cobwebs off of my mind because it's been years. Like I'm talking about my early college years since I watched Bleach and binged through that whole entire thing though. But yeah, it's been kind of good going through and reliving that and seeing all these characters and voice actors and stuff come back. That's been pretty good though. But I think the most recent thing, I knew there was something major I wanted to talk about in this segment, and it just hit me. Literally, when I rolled out of my sick bed the other day ago, I was like, wait a minute. I was like, why are all these people talking about Pokemon right now? And then of course it was with the most recent Pokemon anime episode that came out because Ash recently has been competing in a tournament where it's called Masters 8, where literally like he was facing some of the strongest characters from like the anime slash, what's also considered as the games that he's ever been going through and encountering or seeing in the distance. Like literally he was competing against people like Lance, the champion from Kanto and Johto, Steven, the champion of Hoenn, Cynthia, the champion of Sinnoh. You literally had Iris, who technically became the champion of the Unova region and whatnot, though. You had Diantha, champion of Kalos. And then you had Alon, who technically was also the champion of Kalos, who won that Kalos League back when Ash faced him, but he lost in the grand finals. Still a little bit salty on that, though. And then you had Ash himself, who's literally the first ever champion of Alola. So it's like literally almost a whole tournament of champions, whatnot, though. And then you had Leon, who was the champion of Galar, whatnot, though. The quote unquote undefeated champion and whatnot, though. And literally, it was him going like what? He faced Steven first, then faced Cynthia, and then faced Leon last because it was kind of predictable that he was going to at least make it all the way up to Leon, though. The Cynthia fight was really sick. I really thoroughly enjoyed that fight. Like Cynthia, man, she went down swinging. Like that was a really good fight. Make sure you go back and watch that if you hadn't already. Which I'm saying watch this right now. The episodes are only out for like the sub right now, so Japanese dub. It's gonna take a while for the English dub to catch up if that's the version that you've been going through and watching though. But yes, it is confirmed that Ash is a world champion and whatnot. Though it was blown out everywhere. Literally, it started with some POKETubers that I started to follow, and I was like, ah, shoot. I was waiting to binge this once all the episodes were done, but they beat me to the spoilerly punch. Then turn around and you had like news outlets reporting on this and a whole bunch of this other stuff. You even have like the Pokemon English account literally post about it saying, hey, Ash finally did it after 25 years. He became the strongest, champion in the world or whatnot, though. So I was like, oh shoot. But that fight between Ash and Leon was pretty sick at the very end. yes, it did have a little bit of flaws. You can kind of point some stuff out. Like literally, Score Bunny could have used like a type of ground type move that could have one shotted it while it was in its G-Max form and whatnot. Though I won't go into all the technicalities on that though. But you know, rest assured, technically, Ash is the strongest one out there now. It does kind of raise in the question, what will be up next for Ash? Whether or not he, are they going to conclude his series and actually bring in a new protagonist? Like a lot of people kind of thought what was going to happen at the end of the Alola region, and then he traveled over here and did this like all region kind of thing. And now that he's done with the World Tournament, I guess technically this is a good spot where he could stop and they can introduce somebody new. Personally, I would love for them to do that, make it a little bit more mature, but I doubt they're going to do it. Ash is so iconic at this point. I just don't know how to technically handle that or do that baton pass or whatnot though. But it is something super iconic in terms of the anime side of things though. And literally, out of all this time, Ash was able to be a world champion way before Luffy was able to find that gosh darn One Piece though. Let that sink in, y'all. Let that sink in though. Whole shoot. But yeah, so literally that was some of the stuff I was going through and watching. I literally kind of binged and caught up on all those episodes literally one day to catch up to the Pokemon World Championship Masters 8 tournament, stuff like that. But yeah, so that's basically going to be it in terms of that show segment. So let's go ahead and jump into that one last final segment, that being what you've been playing. All right, so lately, in terms of stuff I've been going through and playing, it's literally been primarily all on the Switch. I don't think I really played too much at all, literally on the PlayStation 5, at least for the last time I did my podcast episode, though. But at least for me personally, I've been going through and playing a bunch of Splatoon 3 lately because we just came off the heels of the Splatfest. And literally these results came in like literally an hour before I started going live on this podcast though. But Team Water, because we literally had a Pokemon collab with Splatoon where they did a crossover where literally it was Team Grass versus Team Fire versus Team Water. And legit Team Water came in sweeping and won in every single category. They won in the sneak peek where it was like gather the most conch shells. They turned around and won the popularity vote, 40 something percent compared to the 30 something and 25% I think for grass. Fire had 30 something percent. And then turned around and won both the open and the pro votes for the overall battles. So the Water came in and dominated and did a complete sweep. I would literally say out of most of those fights that I've been going through and playing on Splatoon 3, I know that most of those people over there, man, Water was just try hard and out the wazoo. Like, holy shoot. Like I saw like one clip on there where this dude was going in and just killing, was basically spawn camping Team Grass. And I was like, what the actual heck? Like I literally talked to some of the dudes in the call over there on Discord. I was like, man, what the heck? And yeah, everybody was literally complaining about it, unless you were on Team Water though. So I was like, oh, shoot. But yeah, I was a little bit frustrated by that, but at least we broke the curse of, hey, if you're in the lead at halftime, usually you're the one that loses. Because literally, Big Man was in the lead at halftime for the first two Splatfests, and literally they flipped and went back on Team Shiver at the last second, thanks to those tricolor Splat fours. But literally, the first one was like, the demo, because not you had a whole bunch of people playing Splatoon that probably didn't know how to play Splatoon because that demo was open for everybody. But now that the meta's kind of started to sit in, people kind of know what they're doing. Maybe that's actually changing the logistics on things and whatnot, though. So I don't know. At least that's good. So at least now, even if you're at the lead by halftime, you can still do pretty good in terms of holding that lead. At least in that point, it's pretty good. But I just hope they kind of balance out stuff a little bit better because it felt like at least with this tricolor match, at least for Sturgeon Shipyard, the one that stage that we were fighting on, goodness, I felt like it was so easy to actually get into the other, you know, the two people that were trying to attack you. It was way easier to get into their bases. Where in the past, with the past couple of maps, you weren't able actually to get into their bases. So at least it still kind of kept it somewhat fair. So I'm like, oh no, it's always tricky, I guess, balancing that though. But yeah, that was one major thing I was doing was the Splatfest, and I think outside of Splatoon 3, I was trying to think over here and looking at my stuff. I was like, what else though? Was I going through and playing? I've been playing some Smash Brothers on and off with a group of my friends and whatnot though. Oh, and the other thing I've been going through and playing was literally Mario Party. Mario Party has been a lot of fun going through and playing Mario Party original, but more so a whole bunch of Mario Party 2 matches. That's what I've been kind of going through and doing quite a bit though. So I've been kind of enjoying that on the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack as well though. And I think it's been a combination of one of those few things that I've been going through and lately on the Switch though. But since we are coming up a little closer into the holiday season and whatnot though, I'll start picking up a whole bunch of games for both the Switch and the PlayStation. Like literally, I just picked up Sonic Frontiers for the PS5 today. Not sure when I'll start that or if I want to make sure I knock out Ghost of Tsushima first. But I mean, yeah, so I'm gonna be getting a bunch of games here lately soon. Oh, and then literally we have Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet coming out literally this upcoming Friday, which you'll hear about my thoughts on that the next time I have my ZardCast podcast, and I'll kind of give my full thoughts on that as well, though, because for those that don't know already, technically the games have already leaked out there. And if you're watching this podcast after the release date, well, then you're already on your own at that point. Everything's out there now, though. But stuff is leaked. You can see Pokemon out there. You can see, different trainers and stuff like that. The Pokemon is like one of the biggest things. I've been doing fairly good at avoiding leaks, but unfortunately, I saw the evolutions for the mid and a little bit of the final evolution for Coco. Like literally, I was scrolling, I was looking at my phone. I literally swiped down my notification bar, and literally there it was with a picture of it and some other account. I couldn't even read it because I swiped it so fast. I was like, how the heck? But that was literally the only thing I've been really kind of spoiled about. Some of my friends said some stuff here and there in a call or whatnot, though, and I was like, dang, I wish I didn't know that. Now I kind of know, but I don't know anything about pictures with names or anything like that. Like they gave me some concepts and stuff like that, but that's all I would say. But yeah, so honestly, I've been really kind of looking forward to that. I like how they kind of keep their cards close to their chest because for some oddball reason, for better or for worse, that their games always leak out. It's just Pokemon. People just love it so much. They just want to get it out there. I don't know why a lot of people ain't just patient or whatnot though. They just like hired in the mess, data data mining, ripping all that mess and just throwing it out there on the internet though. Like literally Scarlet, I think it's out there where people knew how to have a mod switch and whatnot though, or run it on an emulator. You can literally play Scarlet right now if you want to. And I think some other copies are probably loose out there in the wild as well though. So yeah, just keep that all in mind. If you want to avoid spoilers, especially while you're going through and playing through the game, because literally since we have like what 3 different routes, you can do the league route, you can do the evil team route, or you can do the treasure hunt. Everybody's gonna be going through this game at their own pace, seeing this stuff in the open world setting and whatnot though. So you never know what you're gonna basically run out there in the wild and whatnot though. So yeah, just keep that in mind as we get as we inch closer and closer to the release dates for Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet though. But I think that's pretty much it in terms of the game and stuff, in terms of what I've been playing, what's upcoming on the future horizon. Oh, I could have mentioned this real quick. I do know that Sonic Frontiers, which I kind of already talked about, I guess, a little bit, that has dropped out this past week, as well as God of War Ragnarok, which I kind of talked about that a little bit as well, though. But yeah, so those couple games dropped last week. We got Pokemon Scarlet and Violet dropping this week, though. Heard some good things about those couple of games, though, for both of them respectively, though. But I'll get around to Sonic Frontiers whenever I get around to it. God of War Ragnarok, I guess, whenever I sit down and maybe play God of War 2018. If I like it, maybe eventually I'll play God of War Ragnarok, but who knows on that? Who knows though? But yep. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, so that's all I have to say on that though. But if you happen to be playing anything good or anything interesting or something that you're kind of looking forward to, in the potential horizon, let me know in the comment section down below, or just at me on Twitter, whatever you're kind of interested in though. But yeah, that's basically gonna do it in terms of all my topics that I have for y'all tonight. in my ZardCast podcast episode 45. So yeah, so honestly, some really good stuff that's been going on, been happening and whatnot though. Yeah, we got Thanksgiving coming up around the corner and whatnot though. This is gonna be the last time I'm gonna be live here on my podcast for a little while because literally I'm looking at my calendar right now and I'm recording this on like Sunday night on November 13th. And normally my podcast is like a bi-weekly podcast, happen every 2 weeks. So normally I would do it on the 27th, but since that's coming off the tail end of Thanksgiving weekend, literally coming off of Black Friday and stuff, I'm gonna be working a decent bit, and I'll still kind of have some family in town and whatnot. Though I'm literally gonna have to skip that day. I'm not gonna do the next podcast episode 46 until like December the 4th. So I'm going to basically take a little bit of a break. And thankfully, by doing that, it's going to offset the schedule a little bit. So that way, when I do it on December 4th, that will be episode 46. And then that should allow me to do episode 47 on the 18th, thus perfectly skipping Christmas Day, and then it'll line up with January 1st for episode what would be I think 48 at that point though. So yeah, so thankfully it just happened to work out with the math by offsetting the weeks. I should be able to avoid Christmas. So by offsetting around the Thanksgiving timeline, it should keep everything consistent through the Christmas timeline into the New Year's, though. So, assuming that no other random stuff pops up, which could always happen, we're in the holiday season, I'll always let y'all know either in that community tab or I'll make a post about it in my ZardCast Twitter account or something like that, though. But yeah, I just want to kind of leave y'all with that little bit of information in case y'all happen to be asking about, where's the next episode, which I'll remind y'all on certain social media outlets and whatnot, though. But yeah, that's all I got to basically say for my ZardCast episode 45, though. So if you really like this, make sure to go ahead and hit that like button, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and that bell. That way you don't miss any of my other future upcoming podcast episode or anything else gaming I feel like throwing on the channel. If you happen to be one of my viewers that would be happen to listening to this either on Google, Apple, Spotify, or even Amazon Music podcast, make sure to go ahead and hit that like button there. Go ahead and share that podcast. I'm just one dude just talking about video game related stuff, pop culture stuff, all that kind of good stuff. I'll just talk about this mess on the side though. But yeah, that's gonna basically do it for this episode though. So remember, y'all, until where video I make next, and until my ZardCast episode 46, I will see y'all later.